Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You won't believe the shocking story we have for you today. Imagine being a millionaire, living a life of luxury, but then your world is flipped upside down in an instant. That's exactly what happened to one father when he discovered something absolutely horrifying that his cleaner did to his 7-year-old son. Trust me, you'll want to hear the full details of this unbelievable gut-wrenching tale. It's a story of betrayal, trust, and a tragic event that changed everything for the Johnson family. Our story begins with the image of a family living the dream. The Johnsons, David and Rachel, were the picture of success. David, a self-made millionaire, had built his wealth from the ground up. From a small startup, he now owned multiple businesses, properties, and had a reputation as a respected figure in the community. He and his wife Rachel had always wanted the best for their children, and after years of hard work, they could finally provide it. Their son, Aidan, was only 7 years old. He was smart, outgoing, and full of energy. The Johnsons' house was their sanctuary, a stunning mansion filled with every luxury imaginable. But, as they say, appearances can be deceiving, and behind the walls of that beautiful home, there was something lurking that would soon bring their perfect world crashing down. As part of the family's busy schedule, they hired a full-time cleaner, Laura, who had been with them for over a year. She was quiet, respectful, and efficient, so the Johnsons never thought twice about leaving their son in her care while they worked long hours. Laura was in her mid-40s, a hard-working single mother who had always seemed like the ideal person to look after their home. David and Rachel trusted her completely. But little did they know that this trust would soon be shattered in the most unimaginable way. It was just another ordinary Thursday when everything changed. A typical workday, David had left early for a meeting, and Rachel was working from home. Their son, Aidan, had spent the day playing with his toys in his room, his usual laughter filling the house. Rachel was in her office when she heard the sound of footsteps approaching. It was Laura, the cleaner. She came to give Rachel a quick update on her progress for the day. But this time, something was different. Laura's usual cheery demeanor was replaced with an eerie calm. She seemed distracted, almost like she was hiding something. Rachel brushed it off, thinking it was just a result of the stress she had been under. But something about the whole situation felt off. As the day went on, Rachel began to feel uneasy, but she couldn't quite put her finger on why. She decided to check on Aidan, who was playing quietly in his room. But when she entered, what she saw left her paralyzed with shock. Aidan was lying on the floor, motionless. His eyes were wide open, but he wasn't moving. Rachel screamed, rushing to his side. Her heart raced as she desperately tried to wake him up. His body was cold and his limbs stiff. It was as though something had happened to him, something that no mother could ever prepare herself for. She screamed for help, and within seconds David was home, and the paramedics arrived. But the damage had already been done. Aidan was rushed to the hospital, where doctors confirmed the worst news. He had been paralyzed from the waist down. The cause was a severe spinal injury that seemed almost impossible for a child to have sustained in such a short time. The doctors were baffled, and David and Rachel were in complete disbelief. How could this happen? How could their son go from being an active, joyful child to being confined to a wheelchair in a matter of hours? As the family tried to come to grips with the horrifying reality of Aidan's condition, David and Rachel began to investigate what could have caused such an injury. And that's when the truth started to unravel. They discovered that, just before Rachel had gone to check on Aidan, Laura had been alone with him. At first, Laura had been evasive about the events of that afternoon. She claimed she had simply been cleaning around Aidan's room, but the story didn't add up. David and Rachel decided to look into the security footage. What they found would haunt them for the rest of their lives. The footage showed Laura entering Aidan's room, but what was disturbing was the interaction that followed. Laura had been speaking to Aidan, whispering something to him that was inaudible. Moments later, Aidan appeared to collapse suddenly, his body going limp before he fell to the floor. It was clear that something had happened in that room, something that had left their son paralyzed. The couple immediately confronted Laura, demanding an explanation for what had happened. That's when the full, horrifying truth came to light. Laura admitted through tears that she had been under extreme financial pressure. She had been dealing with personal issues, struggling to make ends meet, and had been desperate for a way out. In a twisted attempt to get more money, Laura had made a deal with a black market medical syndicate. She had been instructed to administer a powerful and dangerous substance to Aiden. It was a drug that would cause temporary paralysis, making Aiden's parents believe something had gone terribly wrong at home, in hopes that they would give her a large sum of money to fix the situation. The plan, however, had gone terribly wrong. The drug had caused far more damage than anyone could have imagined. David and Rachel were left completely stunned by what they were hearing. They had trusted Laura completely, and now she had betrayed them in the worst possible way. Their son's life was shattered, and all because of a woman they had welcomed into their home with open arms. The legal battle that followed was intense. Laura was arrested and charged with assault, endangering a child, and a range of other crimes. But the damage had already been done. Aiden's life would never be the same. The family had to come to terms with the fact that their son would be paralyzed for the rest of his life. David, whose wealth had once been his greatest pride, now felt helpless. All the money in the world couldn't undo the horror that had been inflicted upon his son. No amount of success could erase the pain that had been caused by someone they had trusted completely. The Johnsons' story became a cautionary tale of misplaced trust and betrayal. It also highlighted the dark underbelly of people who would go to extreme lengths for financial gain. What was once a family of wealth and happiness had been torn apart by the actions of someone who had seemed like the perfect employee. Over the next few months, the Johnsons' lives were consumed with lawyers, doctors, and therapy appointments. Aiden had to endure countless surgeries and physical therapy sessions, but despite all the medical interventions, he remained paralyzed. It wasn't just his physical health that had been shattered. The trauma from the event left emotional scars that would take years to heal. In an effort to make sense of what had happened, David became consumed with the idea of protecting other families from experiencing the same horror. He used his platform and wealth to create an advocacy group that focused on raising awareness about child safety in the home. His mission was to ensure that families were better equipped to spot warning signs of danger, and to make sure that employees, no matter how trustworthy they appeared, were thoroughly vetted before being allowed into any home. But it wasn't just about preventing similar incidents from happening again. The Johnsons were also working tirelessly to find a cure for spinal injuries like the one Aiden had suffered. David poured his resources into research, hoping that one day, medical science could offer a solution that could help Aiden and others like him regain the life they once knew. Rachel, for her part, focused on being a pillar of support for Aiden. She never left his side, and together with David, they did everything they could to help him navigate his new reality. They moved forward day by day, doing their best to rebuild a life that was forever altered. But even in the face of adversity, their love for their son never wavered. They did not let their pain break them. Instead, they channeled it into something positive, hoping to make a difference in the world. Today, the Johnsons are still fighting to rebuild their lives. Aiden has undergone numerous treatments in an attempt to regain some mobility, but the emotional toll on the family is immeasurable. David and Rachel have become advocates for child safety, speaking out about the importance of vetting employees and ensuring that no one, no matter how trustworthy they may seem, is ever allowed to have unfettered access to your children. They hope that by sharing their story, they can prevent another family from experiencing the same nightmare. In the end, this shocking tale serves as a grim reminder that appearances can be deceiving and trust can be a fragile thing. The Johnsons' world was shattered in a single moment, and it's a moment they'll never be able to forget. The horror of what happened that day will stay with them forever, And it's a story they will continue to tell, in hopes that others will learn from their experience and protect their loved ones.